This loser gets banished to the demon realm by the king for being a completely powerless idiot because he got summoned to another world. But thanks to a system glitch, he doesn't receive a single special power until he unlock his true ability of infinite leveling. And just like that, raised a beautiful demon wife and somehow create a harem everywhere he goes. In the beginning of the anime we see Banaza, the main character of this anime in his own world. He was one of those good-hearted people who believed that demi-humans and humans should live together in peace. But in his world, people hated demi-humans. They tortured them, hunted them, and treated them like trash. Then one day, Banaza gets summoned to a place called the Keel Road Kingdom under orders from the king. When he wakes up in this new world, he's greeted by the royal magicians. They tell him that he has been summoned to help protect the kingdom from the Dark Army. They wanted to make him the kingdom's hero, but first, he had to place his hands on this crystal that reveals his status. Banaza was hesitant at first, but then he does it. The crystal shows that he was just a regular human with no powers and nothing special. The magicians start whispering, thinking they've summoned the wrong guy again. Then there was a sudden commotion behind them. It turns out that they've found their real hero. That hero and Banaza were both brought before the king. The king was clearly happy to see the hero but makes a weird face when he saw Banaza. To cover up his mistake, he orders Banaza to be sent to the Delavisa forest until they figure out how to send him back to his world. Then we see that they threw Banaza into a carriage and sent him off. On the way, Banaza recalls what the king said when he had begged to be sent back to his own world. The king's assistant had just flat out refused and told him that the gate they used to summon him had closed, and there was no way back until they create another gate. When they reach the forest, the writer gives Banaza a bag from the king. It was a magical bag, so it had a crazy amount of storage space inside. Before leaving, the writer warns him, "Get as far away from this forest as fast as you can. You're near the Dark Army territory now." Then the writer disappears, leaving Banaza alone. He starts wondering what to do and then checks the bag to see what he's got. He finds a cheap-looking iron sword. He pulls it out to examine it, and out of nowhere, some slimes come crawling out of the forest and attack him. He dodges them effortlessly and takes them down. But the sword breaks in the process. Still, something amazing happens as he defeats the slime. His stats level jumps to level 2. Suddenly, all his stats like skills, agility, and everything goes infinite. When he checks his status screen, all he sees was infinity next to every stat. He was stunned to see this symbol as he never knew about infinity. He thought, what even is this number? But then he snaps back to reality as he needs to earn some money if he wants to survive in this world. So, he activates the system's voice control settings and gets ready to face whatever comes next. The system gives him a warning and an automated voice says, "Your bag has magic enchantments. It's being tracked and can attract monsters. Should I remove them?" Banaza doesn't hesitate and says, "Yeah, remove them." Then as he was roaming in the forest looking for food, the system warns him again. This area has high concentrations of malicium, a substance used by the Dark Army. Should I clear it? Banaza again says, "Do it." The system uses a purification spell, clears all the malicium from entire forest. And in the process, his level skyrockets all the way to level 367 because malicium wasn't just some substance, it was a toxic mana demons release from their bodies. And when Banaza unknowingly used his purification skill on the entire area, he accidentally wiped out an entire tier of the Dark Army. Now, with that massive level boost, Banaza decides that he needs to head to the Clyrod Kingdom. But he can't just walk into the capital looking like this. People would easily recognize him, or worse, question him about how he survived. So he starts thinking, how do I even go there like this? Then we see that the system offers him a solution to use the Shopify skill. As he activates this skill, his face transforms, completely giving him a new identity, making him a beautiful girl, but then he again shifts back to become a man with totally different face. Then the system nudges him again, use the teleportation skill. And in a flash, he was standing inside the Clyrod Kingdom. He decides to join one of the adventure guilds in the capital as it was the fastest way to earn money in bulk. He heads to the guild and walks up to the reception desk. When the girl asks for his name, he registers under the alias Fleo. She finishes his registration, hands him a basic adventurer's kit, and welcomes him to the guild. Not long after, Fleo spots a girl named Fenris at the counter. She was desperately trying to hire someone to help her rescue her brother from Delavisa Forest, the same place Fleo had just teleported from. She's even offering to pay them, but none of the adventurers were ready to go near the forest. Fleo walks up and casually tells her, "Yeah, I can help. I was just in Delavisa Forest a little while ago." As soon as he says that, Bella Rosa and a few girls from her group surround him. Getting suspicious, they ask him, "Who are you really?" Fleo stays calm and say, "I'm just a small-time adventurer. I know a bit of magic, that's all." The group then heads out to Delavisa Forest. Once they reach there, the little girl starts searching for her brother and says, "He was here, but I can't smell any trace of Maligium." The mention of Maligium from her mouth sets Bellarosa's team on alert. They suddenly get suspicious and ask her about her true identity, and then we see that the atmosphere surrounding them changes instantly. Suddenly, Fenris transforms into a huge wolf, revealing her demon form, and unleashes her Maligium, a poisonous mist which knocks out Bellarosa and the other girls instantly. Fleo steps in to check on them, but seeing him still conscious, Fenris was confused and she thought, "Why didn't my Melm affect him?" Still, she shrugs it off and says, "Whatever, I'll kill these girls first, then I'll deal with him." She lunges at Fleo, but he was faster and grabs Bellarosa and teleports her and the others to safety in the capital. Now it's just him and Fenris, one-on-one. She launches an attack, but Fleo holds his ground, deflects every move, and strikes back with a gravitational field. Fenris tries everything she can to break through the spell, but it was of no use. That's when Fleo turns to the system and asks, "What magic should I use to defeat her?" The system keeps suggesting, "Use subjugation magic. That way, you can make her your slave and she'll obey your every command." But Fleo refuses, saying, "I'm not using that kind of garbage skill. This world's already better than the one I came from, where enslaving people was a common thing." While Fleo was busy holding the magic field in place, Fenris was burning through her mana, desperately trying to break free. But the effort drains her completely. She was exhausted, out of strength, and finally she gives up, saying, "I surrender," and collapses on her knees. She says, "Just kill me and get it over with." Fleo drops his spell and sighs, "Wait a minute, I wasn't fighting you to kill you. If you've surrendered, you're free to go." Fenris slowly shifts back into her demi-human form. Seeing her injured, vulnerable, and without clothes, Fleo walks over to her and covers her with his cloak. He mutters, "Next time you plan on fighting, at least wear something." That's when he remembers that he still had spare clothes in his medical bag. He starts digging through it, but before he can pull anything out, Fenris collapses again. This time, due to mana depletion, she falls into a deep sleep. In the next scene, we see the royal palace where the king was in meeting with the hero, asking about what happened in the forest. The hero shrugs it off, saying, "Your soldiers are cowards. They don't even know how to fight. I'm the one who saved them. If I hadn't been there, they'd all be dead." Saying that, the hero storms out. But the king wasn't satisfied. He calls in one of the surviving soldiers and asks what really happened. The soldier says nervously, "The hero didn't do anything. He stood far back and watched everything happen. When we were attacked, he was the first one to run." Hearing this, the king's expression hardens. He starts thinking to himself, "What should I do with this so-called hero?" Back in the forest, Fenris finally wakes up. She walks over to Fleo and asks, "Did you heal me?" Fleo nods and says, "Yeah, while you were asleep, I used a bit of healing magic on you." Fenris was totally confused and asks, "Why didn't you kill me?" Fleo says, "I don't like fighting. Honestly, I try to avoid it as much as I can." And then out of nowhere, Fenris bows her head and says, "Please, become my master." Fleo looked at her totally stunned, and then he says that, "I'm not looking for a servant. I don't want to be anyone's master either. You're already healed, so you're free to go." But Fenris clenches her fists. "If you don't accept me as your servant, I'll end my life right here." Now Fleo had no choice. He agrees to become her master. After that, he shows her his real face and tells her everything. The whole truth, right from the start, about how he was summoned and then sent to the forest to die. When he was done, Fenris just smiles at him and says, "It doesn't matter. We Lupinists don't take the bond of a master lightly. Once we've chosen someone, we die for them. And now that you're my master, I'll spend the rest of my life by your side." Hearing this gives Fleo a strange sense of peace. The next day, Fleo and Fenris head back into the capital's marketplace. People glance their way, whispering and smiling, mistaking them for a married couple. Fleo notices this, and an idea strikes him. He says, "If we travel together as a married couple, no one will suspect anything." As soon as Fenris heard this, her eyes light up and she says, "For a slave, this is an honor to serve our master like a proper partner for life." Fleo quickly tries to explain, "We're not actually getting married. We're just pretending to be a couple." But it was of no use now. Fenris doesn't miss a beat and says, "That doesn't matter, darling." Later, Fleo takes Fenris to the capital's adventurer guild. He registers her under the name Rise as his wife. Just then, a special announcement was made. A group of psycho bears had attacked a forest nearby and they're now headed towards the capital. The king has issued a royal decree. Anyone who kills these monsters will get a reward 10 times higher than usual. Hearing this, Fenris turns to Fleo. Excited, she says, "We should go. If we take down those psycho bears, we can make a fortune." At first, Fleo refuses to go after the Psycho Bears, saying he's not interested. But after some pressure from Rise, he finally gives in. The two of them use a teleportation skill to head into the northern forests, where the attacks have been reported. Once they arrive, they're given a house by the Adventurers Guild, a place to use as their base. Not long after settling in, they hear a girl screaming deep in the woods. They rush over to check it out, and there, they find the same 4 girls Fleo had saved earlier when Fenris attacked them. They were surrounded by the Psycho Bears, trying to fight them. The monsters charges at them. But Fleo steps forward, unleashing lightning magic to strike them down. Rise handles another one herself, killing it cleanly. After the battle, Banaza walks up to thank Fleo for saving them again. Then she points toward Rise and asks, "And who's this girl?" Fleo hides the truth and replies casually, "She's just a travel partner." And that statement totally hits Rise's nerve. Rise instantly starts fuming and glaring at him. But before anything else can happen, a massive giant Psycho Bear bursts out of the forest. It roars and then freezes when it sees Rise. Trembling with fear, it faints on the spot and surrenders. Seeing this, Rise gets an idea and asks, "Can we keep him as pet? These creatures are fiercely loyal. He could make a great pet." Fleo sighs but agrees. He uses his Shapify and human production skills to shrink the bear into a small rabbit-like creature. They name him Saib and take him back to the house. Back at their base, the 4 girls introduce themselves properly. The blonde girl is Banaza, then Blossom, Bellari, and Belna. They've clearly been impressed by Fleo's strength and start begging him to train them. But the word training triggers Rise. She gets so jealous that she nearly attacks them on the spot. Luckily, Fleo notices and steps in to calm her down. This time, when introducing Rise, he doesn't call her just a travel partner. He says, "She's my wife." That one word changes everything. Rise immediately snaps back to her cheerful self and sweetly say, "Darling, why don't you train them? They can also stay here. We got plenty of rooms. We'll share one, and they can have the rest." Fleo hesitates, but eventually agrees to start their training from the next day. Meanwhile, far away, we're shown the ruler of the Dark Army, a being known only as the Dark One. One of his trusted soldiers, Euliminus, reports to him about the incident in the forest. She says, "Our sources confirmed that the one who wiped out our entire brigade was just a single person." The Dark One's expression doesn't change, but his tone sharpens. "Find him, bring him to me. I want to see this human with my own eyes." Next day, Fleo wakes up to find Rise standing right in front of him. He flinches. "Rise, what are you doing?" She answers innocently, "Well, now that we're acting like a married couple, shouldn't we spend more time together?" Fleo sighs and says, "Love should come from feelings, not obligation. Let's not rush it." After that, Fleo and Rise take the girls out for hands-on training. They have them fight a monster to gauge their strength and abilities. Watching them struggle, Fleo realizes it's going to take a lot of work to bring them up to speed. After training, Rise calls everyone for dinner. When they show up, they find raw meat, neatly buried under herbs, served by Rise. Fleo looks at Rise and says, "Rise, maybe this could have used a little cooking?" Rise shrugs. "What's wrong with it? It's fine as it is." Banaza and Fleo glance at each other, then quietly get up to grill the meat themselves before serving it to everyone. Rise watches from the side. She was not angry, but clearly a little jealous. Fleo hands Rise a bowl and says, "Try this salad. I made it." She takes a bite and instantly her expression changes. She shouts, "This is delicious." Later, Fleo and Rise visit the capital's adventurer clan headquarters, where they're introduced to the guild's leader Luke. Meanwhile, Rise makes an excuse to leave and says, "I've got something to handle in the city. I'll be back soon." Once she's gone, Luke pulls Fleo aside. He offers him something huge and says that by order of the king himself, Fleo was being invited to become the special knight of the hero. He continues to tell him about the perks, luxurious life, and giant room in the royal castle. More money than he could ever need, along with fame, status, and comfort. But Fleo turns it down, saying he doesn't want to fight for either the Dark Army or the humans. He's not here to take sides in their war. After refusing the offer, Fleo walks outside and spots Rise. She looked exhausted and depressed. Meanwhile, we learn that her secret mission was cooking practice, but that clearly didn't go well. They head back home, and soon, a whole month goes by and everything changes around them. Blossom takes up gardening and starts planting crops in the yard. Meanwhile, Fleo and Rise were training Bellari and Belna in combat. Fleo even gifts Belna a magical ring that boosts her spell's powers. That evening, after training, Rise serves everyone a homemade dinner. When Fleo takes a bite, he can't believe it. It was actually good. Rise cooked like a real human. She smiles and tells him, "Ever since I started cooking, I've been enjoying it." while everyone was enjoying the meal, and we see someone hidden in the shadows, the secret agent of the Dark One, Euliminus, watching them. She sees Rise was laughing and eating with the humans, and was totally stunned. She thought, how can the Dark One's one of the most loyal warrior be here, with them? Euliminus starts to leave, but Rise had already noticed her and quickly intercepts. She brings Euliminus to meet Fleo and asks, "What are you doing here?" Euliminus shrugs, "I was just scouting the area. But I noticed there aren't any magical beasts around." Fleo answers honestly, "Yeah, that's true. I purified this whole forest using a purification skill." Euliminus freezes after hearing this and says, "You're the one who used the purification magic? The one that wiped out our entire brigade?" Then she turns to Rise, confused because her brother had died in that attack. But before she can say more, Rise shuts her down and says, "Enough. Leave." And just before Euliminus turns to go, Rise warns her coldly, "Don't come back here. From now on, Fleo is my husband. I'll live my whole life with him, no matter what." Hearing that, Euliminus begins to worry and thinks if this guy really is that powerful, he could become a problem for us down the line. Which is why she challenges Fleo to a duel to test his strength for herself. Fleo accepts and both of them clash briefly. Euliminus goes all out, attacking fast and hard. But Fleo calmly blocks every move and finally traps her with his magical ropes. Unable to break free, Euliminus surrenders and quietly leaves. The next day, Fleo gathers the girls and tells them the truth about Rise's past and who she really is. For a moment, there was silence. But then the girls speak up and say, "It's okay. Actually, this might be a good thing. Now we get trained not just by a human but also a demon, and that means our skills are only going to get better." Suddenly, Rise hears a loud noise outside. She looks out and sees Euliminus approaching, bringing a horde of dragons with her all charging straight toward Fleo. Fleo stares in awe and says, "Real dragons? Now that's something." Rise turns to him, surprised. "Wait, you didn't have dragons in your world?" Fleo shrugs and says, "We did. But I never actually saw one with my own eyes." Without wasting time, Fleo launches a lightning ball attack. It wipes out most of the dragons in one hit and the rest of them panic and scattered away. Meanwhile, Euliminus watching this was totally stunned. She thought, those were some of the Dark One's strongest demon dragons, and he just wiped them out in a single move? She realizes that she's outmatched and disappears into the shadows. Meanwhile, Blossom, who was watching from a distance, sighs and thinks, "Man, I wish I could have taken down one of those dragons. I'd have earned the Dragon Slayer title." Fleo hears her, smiles, and tosses her his shovel. "Throw this at one." Blossom does. As it flies, Fleo enchants the shovel with magic, speeding it up. It slams right into a fleeing dragon and kills it instantly. Just like that, Blossom gets her wish and the Dragon Slayer title unlocks. Everyone cheers, but elsewhere, the Dark One has been watching the entire thing through a magical orb. Seeing Fleo's power firsthand, he makes up his mind. It's time I meet him face to face. The next morning, Fleo gets up early and casts a safety barrier around the house, just in case more attacks come their way. Meanwhile, Bella Rosa, Bellari, and Belna were watching Blossom celebrate her Dragon Slayer title, and you can literally feel the jealousy. Bella Rosa gets up abruptly and says, "I'm heading out to hunt some monsters." But the truth was that she just needs to get away for some alone time. On the way, she thinks about how proud her parents would have been if she had gotten the title instead. That one kill could have changed everything for her. Suddenly, she hears a voice coming from the woods. She turns around and standing there was none other than the Dark One himself. Even though she didn't recognize him, fear floods her face, but he doesn't attack. Instead, he just asks, "Have you seen an old friend of mine?" Bella Rosa, confused, responds cautiously, "Who's this old friend?" The Dark One smiles slightly and says the name of someone from his past. He keeps calm and says, "I just came to see Fenris, that's all." When it's clear Fenris isn't around, he turns to leave. But before he disappears, Bella Rosa calls out, "Wait, what's your name?" He looks over his shoulder and says, "Gazel." Once he was gone, Fleo and Rise arrive. They rush to Bella Rosa and ask if she's alright. She nods. Still shaken, she asks about the man. Rise explains, "We saw you from distance, talking to someone. That man was the Dark One." Bella Rosa freezes at the mention of Dark One. She couldn't believe that she stood face to face with the Demon King himself. She starts panicking, thinking she's doomed. But Rise and Fleo calm her down and say, "You're okay, he's gone. You're safe." The next morning, Gazel shows up again. Rise and Fleo greet him politely and ask why he was visiting them. Gazel says, "I'm just here to make you an offer. Turns out, he was also offering Fleo a place in the Dark Army just like the king's men did before. But Fleo turns it down again saying, "I'm not joining the humans, and I'm not joining the demons either. I'm not picking sides in your war." Exiled narrows his eyes. "Then I guess I'll have to keep trying. I won't stop until you join me." And saying that, he leaves. But not for long. Day after day, Exiled keeps showing up at Fleo's door, trying to recruit him, just standing there, watching, waiting. Meanwhile, Belarosa, who was already shaken, gets more and more scared every time she sees him. She avoids him completely, never even making eye contact. One day, some soldiers from the royal palace spot Exiled outside Fleo's place. They rush back to the king and report everything. The king doesn't like this and says, "Go tell that adventurer, either he fights for us against the Dark Army, or we brand him a traitor and execute him." The very next day, Fleo was showing Rise a dragon shield he forged himself, saying, "We could sell this for a decent price." Suddenly, Bellari rushes in panic saying, "The king's army is here, and they've brought the hero with them." Fleo steps outside and see an entire army was standing at his doorstep with their swords drawn. The hero steps forward and says, "You have two choices. Join us and fight the Dark Army or die branded as a traitor." Fleo stares him down and replies without hesitation, "No, I'm not fighting with the Dark Army. I'm not fighting for the humans either. And frankly, I don't even like fighting. I'm not doing this war." The hero's face hardens and he says, "Then I guess you've chosen death? Like a true traitor." After that, Belarosa and the girls in her group refuse to follow the hero's order to attack. Hearing this, the hero says, "Looks like you've left me no choice now." Then Fleo uses his magic to teleport not just himself and Rise, but also their home, the fields along with crops, and all the girls from Belarosa's group and their animals to the southern side of the kingdom. The moment the hero sees this teleportation magic, he starts to panic. He thinks, "I can't even use this magic with this kind of intensity. How is some ordinary adventurer pulling it off?" Meanwhile, Fleo successfully teleports everyone to safety on the south side. Right after that, Exiled shows up. But when he doesn't see the house, he completely loses it, furious and out of control. Seeing this, the hero panics and runs away, ordering his soldiers to deal with him, saying, "I'm out of here." Then Exiled gives order to his Dark Army to attack the humans. The moment he commands it, entire Dark Army launches an assault on the villages up north. In response, the king commands his soldiers to join forces with the hero and stop the attacks. But the soldiers inform the king that the so-called hero has already run off and is hiding in the southern castle. Hearing this, the king gets furious at the hero's cowardice. To deal with the attack, the king calls mages from across the kingdom to use purification spell to counter the Dark Army's forces. It works to stop the immediate damage, but Exiled times it perfectly and pulls back his army before any of his soldiers are actually harmed. On this side, using such a massive spell drains the mage's mana, including the king's. Everyone falls sick due to mana deficiency, and the recovery could take 2 to 3 months. So Princess Elizabeth steps in to take charge of the kingdom while the king recovers. The first thing she does was to strip the hero of his title for abandoning the kingdom during the attack. As soon as the order is issued, the hero is thrown out of the castle, literally thrown out of the doors. Meanwhile, we see Fleo in Hawktown. He heads home after getting a good idea of his dragon shield's value, and Rise welcomes him back. The group sits down and divides up the household responsibilities. Blossom takes charge of the fields and plans to sell the crops to support the house. Bellari was in charge of caring for the horses. Fleo will sell his shield and armor to contribute money. Reese handles the household chores. But Belarosa and Belno, they can't do much. Honestly, they don't know how to do anything useful. The next day, the 4 girls start talking among themselves and realize that Fleo and Rise have never actually gone on a proper date. So they make a plan to send the 2 of them out. Fleo tries to say no, but Rise drags him out anyway. They end up having a great time. At the end of the date, Fleo gifts Reese a pendant. She was really touched, and after bringing it home, she just can't stop smiling as she looks at it again and again. That night, Rise cuddles up next to Fleo in bed, and seeing her there, Fleo feels deeply comfortable too. In the next scene, we see the hero, who is now disgraced and furious. He sneaks into the royal kingdom's treasure vault. As he was stealing gold, he suddenly hears a strange sound coming from the wall. He follows it and finds a secret room. There, a mysterious figure named Hea leads him in and shows him a sword embedded in stone. She tells him, "Pull it out, and I'll grant you any 3 wishes." The moment he hears about the wishes, he pulls the sword out. A huge explosion follows, and Hea emerges from the sword, revealing herself as an ancient Jinn. Then she asks for his 3 wishes. Driven by jealousy, the hero makes his first wish, to kill Fleo. Meanwhile, Princess Elizabeth calls an elderly lady into the palace and explains the dire state of the kingdom and asks her for guidance about any way they can defend against future Dark Army attacks. But before the old woman can say anything, a sacrificial collar suddenly appears on her neck out of nowhere. Seeing this, everyone panics, and Princess Elizabeth immediately commands the guards, head to the basement and check for any intruders. After the guards leave, Princess Elizabeth starts thinking to herself, who could have possibly released the gene? Then we find out that many years ago, the previous king of the Kyle Kingdom had asked Jean Heya for a wish to destroy the Dark One, but in return, more than half the population of the kingdom had to sacrifice their lives. Seeing all this, Elizabeth pleads for help from the old lady. The old lady uses her magic and says she will find the true hero of the real world, and his name was Fleo. So Princess Elizabeth heads out herself to find Fleo. Meanwhile, we see Fleo trying to sell his dragon shield to a merchant. The merchant, impressed with the quality, agrees to buy all of Fleo's shields at a good price. After the deal, Fleo starts heading back home with Belarosa and Rise. But just then, Heya appears and asks Fleo his name. When he says, "Yeah, I'm Fleo. What do you want from me?" Heya suddenly attacks him and Rise jumps in front of Fleo and takes the hit, getting badly injured. Fleo and Belarosa rush to her side, and as Fleo tries to heal her, the system tells him that the wounds are too deep and the healing spell would not work. Then Heya strikes again with her lightning magic, but it doesn't affect Fleo at all. In fact, that attack ends up transferring all of Jin's powers into Fleo's system, so now he can use the same kind of powers as a Jin. Memories of the time he spent with Rise flood back in his mind. Enraged, Fleo stands up and activates Jin's time reversal technique. Time starts rewinding, and Rise's wounds begin healing. Fleo, now burning with anger, begins attacking Heya. She tries to fight back using magic, but nothing works on him. Seeing this, Heya starts getting suspicious and checks Fleo's stats. To her shock, everything was showing infinity. She can't believe a normal human could hold such overwhelming power. Meanwhile, Rise wakes up. Watching Fleo fight for her, she feels deeply moved. But she also remembers that Fleo never liked violence. He always stayed far away from conflict. So she runs to him, hugs him tightly, and pleads with him to stop. She doesn't want him to lose his kindness over someone like Heya. Hearing her out, Fleo calms down and spares Heya. Then he hugs Rise, relieved that she's okay. Elsewhere, Princess Elizabeth teleports with her injured mages to the royal palace of Kyle Kingdom. She thanks them and orders her guards to look after them. But suddenly, all the sacrifice collars around their necks break off. Seeing this, Elizabeth wonders, how could a Jin fail to fulfill a wish? Then we cut to the hero, who's been found by the royal guards. But he has locked himself in a room with Tsuyu. Seeing the broken collar, he mutters angrily that this stupid Jin couldn't even grant one small wish. That's when he hears another voice. Damalina's soul emerges and enters Tsuyu's body. It transforms, revealing her true identity. Damalina's was a trapped witch and the princess of dark magic, sealed below Heya by the previous king who used Heya to prevent her from breaking her seal. Now free, Damalina's begins her revenge against the royal family and also transforms the hero into a monster. Back in the town, we see Fleo using his healing magic on Heya to fix her wounds. But now he was thinking of sealing her away. He knows if a powerful Jin like her falls into the wrong hands, things could turn very bad. Meanwhile, Rise insists on keeping Heya with him. Fleo tries to reason with her, saying, "She literally tried to kill you just moments ago. Are you really sure you want her around?" But seeing how firm Rise was, Fleo reluctantly agrees, but on one condition, that Heya will never harm another human again. Heya agrees immediately. Then Fleo starts using time-reversing magic to fix the village, but Heya stops him. She says, "Master, this could be very dangerous. When I checked your stats, everything showed as infinite. That's the only reason you were even able to use this magic, but even we Jins can't use it for long. It risks our lives. And besides, this kind of magic is for small changes. If you use it on such a massive scale, it might destroy timelines." So Fleo stops and instead uses restoration magic to repair everything. After that, he brings Heya home and introduces her to everyone else. They're all terrified, of course, seeing a Jin, but Fleo thinks that over time, they'll get used to her. That night, Rise comes to Fleo's room. Seeing how powerful he's become, she asks him, "Do you want to leave this world?" Because according to Jin laws, Fleo can now use summoning magic to return to his own world. But Fleo shakes his head and says, "No way. That world is awful to people like us. I'd rather stay here with you for the rest of my life." Then Fleo finally confesses his love for Rise. He says he wants to live with her like a married couple. And Rise says, I have already considered you my husband. Hearing that, Fleo kisses her. But of course, Heya barges in right at that moment. Rise snaps at her, "Don't you have any shame? Just barging into someone's private room like that?" Heya responds, "From today, you're my master. It's my duty to protect you." So yeah, things get a little naughty from here. But hey, that's not for us to discuss. So that's it for part 1 of this anime. If you would like part 2, comment down and hit the like button.